Why? Look! 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 Oh my god, there's another one! Oh my... Can you believe it? Another game in my favorite series ever. Well, I love the first one. I didn't really care for the second one, but now there's a third one. Oh my god. Like, I can't really tell you how excited for this I am. I kind of can't. Okay, I'm gonna turn my mic down. I keep going into the yellow because I'm so fucking excited. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, so this was released like 2 days ago. I got it on Switch. And I still can't believe it. I can't believe it's real and we're getting more of it. And after World of Darkness just sent out that survey that was like, well, maybe that was like last month. I don't know. I have a weird concept of time. That survey that was like, what do you want to see from us? And I typed in anything from the New York visual novel series, especially Kaiser. Please bring him back. Bring him to me. And then this came out. Are you kidding? What's happening? Anyway, I'm extremely happy and excited. And we're just gonna go ahead and jump in here. There's gonna be a lot of reading out loud because this is a visual novel. This is about new characters. There was like, they said there's like new gameplay. I'm not sure what that is though. Oh my gosh, I'm nervous. Okay, let's go. New game. Golly. Oh, you have to do hers first before you can do his. Kind of thought you get to choose. Okay, that's okay. Okay, so we will be Kali. She's Ravnos. My sire's gone. I'm so excited. I'm so sorry. My sire's gone AWOL, and I've got no clue why. It sucks, but hey, I'm a raven. When things get dicey, I go with my gut. Right now, it's telling me to just keep searching. It hasn't let me down so far, and it won't start now, right? Oh, I bet it will. Oh my god. Okay. Oh shit. I get to choose. Oh shit. Okay, obfuscate allows Kindred to hide easily, move without being noticed, and divert the eyes of observers. Presence is the Kindred ability to influence emotion in others, to attract or terrify. And animalism. Animalism allows Kindred to communicate with, control, or feed more efficiently on animals. Oh my gosh. Okay, one in presence, please. And one in obfuscate. Animalism is cool, but I just kind of don't foresee it being needed as much as the other two. I could be totally wrong though. Oh my god. Oh my god, okay. Let's go. Hunger. Yeah, I want to keep both of those. Let's just play as it's supposed to be played. Night one, the beginning. Oh my god. Oh, I just realized I forgot to put up like my like little border that I made with the zombie and stuff. I don't even care. I'm playing this now. I'm not stopping. Oh, press a button. Oh, I was waiting for it to just go. Ooh, yellow eyes. Gorgeous. Ooh, she's very pretty. I don't know, like, anything about Ravnos. I just realized. Ooh. Oh, that's so cool. Reckoning of New York. So I didn't play Shadows of New York. I thought about maybe doing it. Well, I didn't do a playthrough. I played it, but I didn't do a playthrough of it. I thought about it for a while, then I realized I didn't want to because I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy playing it. So I'm just hoping that you've sort of seen that one. I don't know how relevant the events in it are going to be in this game. Hopefully not too relevant for the sake of any people watching who haven't played or seen a playthrough of Shadows of New York themselves. Oh my gosh, okay. Oh my gosh, okay. Okay, D'Angelo's Burrow. If you can even call it that, feels more like a rough draft of an asteroid belt. Suggesting it's shabby almost gives it too much credit, as if there's some hidden allure to the mess, which there definitely isn't. Shut up. His head is cocked thoughtfully, beady eyes piercing me right through. Does this acute interest stem from the matter I brought in, or does he simply enjoy watching me wriggling in his wretched chair? Why are you wriggling in his chair? I'd ask, but underneath the shut the fuck up, he's beautiful. I'd asked, but underneath the repulsive mask of his face, I noticed something that looks a lot like fear, a detail I pocket for later. Okay. A strong synthetic odor taints the still air. The world is moving forward, but this crap reeks worse than your average smoke. And the way he squashes those many cigs in the ashtray, it's clear D'Angelo's struggling to shake off old habits. Yeah, clearly. Not that I'm one to throw stones, but he's quite the character. Useful, but infuriating too at times. Okay, 1 second. I'm gonna see if I can, no. I'm gonna see if I can get the font size bigger. Fantastic, thank you. Okay, wow, we're just starting right at D'Angelo. Oh my god. You might not remember, but I fucking love D'Angelo. He's my second favorite character, followed very, very closely following Kaiser. Like right now, for example. There he is! Oh my gosh, they got new art! I mean, of course they did, but... Oh. Let me just get this straight. You lost your sire, eh? What does his hat say? Hell no. I can't make out the last word. In Coteries of New York, he only had no on it. Wow, he's got new patches. Right, D'Angelo. Let me just get this straight. You lost your sire, eh? I didn't lose him, you goof. He just never turned up to our meeting. You goof? Easy, Tiger. Just trying to get the situation clear here. What's unclear about it? I went to our meeting spot and he wasn't there. That never happens. Reynard Castle has a knack for vanishing, though. Maybe he had to make himself scarce? Skip town? He'd have left me a clue, for sure. You still relying on those wall tags? The hobo code or whatnot? Little Chandler here has totally been killing it lately. I mean, I might have casually mentioned the code once or twice. What is Little Chandler? Is that a reference to some... Reference? Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, I'm, like, quite hyped up right now. I'm so sorry. Anyway, is that a reference to something I don't get? I mean, I might have... Does the screen keep flickering, or is that me? Like, is that happening in my recording? Hold on, I'm gonna just watch it for a second to make sure it's not doing that. Okay, well, I mean, I might have casually mentioned the code once or twice, but nothing major. It just flickered! Oh god, I hope that's, like, the game and not my capture card or something. I don't know what I can do about that now. It's just gonna flicker, I guess. Or maybe it's the light in, like... Yeah, maybe it's the light in the background. Well, alright, maybe I showed him a symbol. One that's pretty much useless on its own. Sigh. If Reynard catches wind of me spilling beans, he's gonna flip. He's like Fort Knox when it comes to our secrets. We do, and I found absolutely zilch. Which doesn't happen, by the way. We never bail on each other when we split up for stuff like this. It's just too dangerous. Maybe he didn't have a chance to leave a trail. Where were you two supposed to rendezvous? Rendezvous. Jesus Christ. As I said, I'm very excited. It might take a while for me to calm down and be able to control my words better. I'm just gonna tell him I love him and I trust him. Coney Island. Yay! Coney Island, just a few blocks off the Wonder Wheel. That's where you meet Kaiser. He nods, utterly unsurprised, and I feel my hackles rise. You knew already? I had a hunch, but thanks for telling me either way. Maybe dropping by D'Angelo's wasn't such a great plan. Or maybe he's not as useless as I assumed. But he's definitely got me on edge. Also, if this wasn't clear, this is a totally blind playthrough. It's probably clear, though, judging by how excited I am. I shoot him a skeptical glance, but he appears to be elsewhere, lost in his own thoughts. His lips move silently, almost like he's whispering a prayer. I'm gonna try to start reading a little slower, because I just realized I'm going, like, really fast. I'm incredibly excited. Oh gosh, okay, prick your ears. I strain my ears and finally catch a few words. Oh god, I love him. When a damsel in distress entered his dimly lit office, Lost in the urban jungle and nowhere to go, she turned to the only person she could trust, Detective Extraordinaire Gianni D'Angelo. But neither of them foresaw the storm brewing, ready to shake their world to its core. Oh my god, I adore him. I'll skip over your noir wet dreams. What's the deal with the storm? Don't you worry about it. The way he says it really makes me worry about it, but I brush it off. So you made your way to Coney Island, but came up empty-handed. No castle, no trail to follow, anything noteworthy at all? Just your typical shady assholes loitering around, clearly up to something. I wonder if Jackie was there. Pretty standard for New York City, as far as I'm aware. Shady assholes. Who, Kindred? Regular folks, I think. All twitchy and restless. He furrows his brow, nodding slowly, but it seems more in mourning than deep in thought. When he finally speaks, it's not at all what I was expecting to hear. To be frank, Kali, I'm running short on answers. Your sire seems just temporarily unavailable, or gone for good, or something else. Can't say I'm entirely shocked. He tries to stroll around nonchalantly, but the mess in his bureau just as nonchalantly throws him off balance. It completely ruins his noir vibe. So I shoot him a cheeky grin, but he's too caught up to even notice. Breaking character must have rattled him good. If I were you, I'd take a leaf out of his book and disappear, pronto. In fact, that's exactly what I intend to do I'm so sorry. In fact, that's exactly what I intend to do once I'm through with my business in the city. I unpocket the fear I observed a moment ago and give D'Angelo another good, lasting look. He's genuinely terrified, like seriously scared. But there's this hint of desperation, too. I've got to tame my inner con artist. She's practically salivating in my head, just waiting to join in. But when things go south, D'Angelo's the buddy you stick with, not somebody you ditch and forget. First name basis. Gianni, seriously, what's up? I'm kind of freaking out here. There seem to be too many loose ends to stitch together a complete tale, and frankly, it's too lengthy for just one night anyway. There's a storm gathering in the city. I've been going through some rough patches, but this feels like a whole different kind of trouble. Cut the cryptic shit just for once. He looks over my shoulder, lost in thought, like he's figuring out how to drop an anchor on someone who's already drowning. Our kind has been dropping like flies lately. Nobody seems to be a specific target, but it's hitting mostly Duskborn. The court dubs it the culling of thin bloods. Real knee slapper they've got, those sons of guns. But there's been other victims too. A chill runs down my dead spine. Here's the sad reality. New York City has never been as dangerous for Kindred as it is these nights. Oh shit. Are the sects seriously at each other's throats that hard? Same old song and dance, right? But this time there's a curveball, enough to make him halt the hostilities, and... You know what? I'll fill you in while we hit the road. The urge to flee slams into me like a freight train. There's something about his tone that almost convinces me to hightail it out of the city, but it's not quite time to make a break for it. Might stick around for a while, so... D'Angelo's visibly concerned. Should I be worried too? You're really not gonna let him go, huh? Of course not. I'll find Reynard, come hell or high water. Besides, someone has to handle detective duty since, judging by how desperately you want me to drive you out of town, a damsel in distress is already taken. Ooh, get him. D'Angelo tilts his head downward just enough to fix his crooked smile. A smile abandoned by joy long ago. I know you well enough to not even bother trying to change your mind, but you have a knack for diving headfirst into trouble, so hear me out. Keep your head down. Stay off the radar. Don't feed willy-nilly. And above all, don't reveal your true nature unless you're 100% sure nobody can see you. So, the Masquerade, basically. I'm not joking, Callie. Keep low, or else. Yeah, thanks for the tip. I rise to my feet and wave goodbye as I head out the door. I'll grab you once I found Reynard. On my own, since you've been such a big help. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Okay, it takes me a while to actually notice the air around me, crisp and clear, without the ever-present stench of D'Angelo's nicotine habit. I find it's taking me longer each time to catch on. When will I reach the point where I don't notice it anymore? Reynard's silence and the total lack of hints about his whereabouts bug me way more than I'm ready to say out loud. The streets are deserted. It's like everyone vanished, scared off by the winter chill that mortals seem to hate. I like it. The darkness of the night, lit up by bursts of color, is kind of beautiful in a bleak, urban way. But my sire is gone, and I don't know what to do. Back at D'Angelo's, I was all talk, swearing that I'd track down Reynard myself or burn up trying. Pretty sure he saw right through my BS. Were I half as confident as I pretended, I wouldn't feel so utterly lost. In late December, in the big fucking dangerous apple of all places. If D'Angelo's warnings have any weight, maybe it's time to bulk up our supplies. Our coterie? Let's just say we're big on being ready for anything. Reynard's the mastermind behind all our safety nets, making sure we don't even brush close to failure. His obsessive preparedness has pulled us out of the fire more than once. Wherever we're running our gigs, we've got these spots, stocked up with goods and, let's call it personal protection. One of those hidden caches lies just around the block, if I remember right. It's been ages, but that's probably the first place I should hit up before I go hunting for Reynard. Better safe than in a grave, right? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry I keep tripping over my words. It's been quite a while since I read out loud. And on top of that, I'm in like turbo mode. Okay, Square One, Coney Island main quest. The rundown parking lot where I stashed my RV seemed deserted enough to keep away from prying eyes. I should head back to Coney Island and see if Reynard showed up while I was away. Or maybe he left one of our signature wall signs, cluing me in on what to do next. Precautionary measures, detour. Survival is the game we all play. Or so Reynard always preached to our gang. That's why we've stashed supply caches all over. If D'Angelo's warnings hold water, grabbing some supplies might actually come in handy. Square One, the RV main quest. Sure, my RV is a fortress on wheels and all, but I better move it before it starts drawing too much attention. And if anything happens to our stash, well, I'd rather not dwell on that, unless I want dodging Reynard to become my main focus instead of figuring out where he vanished. Oh gosh, I don't know, what should I do first? Does it matter? I guess I'll just do this. Coney Island main quest. You'd think the subway at 3 a.m. on a Christmas night would be a tranquil haven, right? Nope, think again. It's not exactly a morning rush, but there's still a bunch of people around. Most of them zoned out, clearly buzzed from booze, drugs, or just plain old tiredness. The blood slowly coursing through their veins just beneath the surface of their skin tempts me in ways I cannot describe. I force myself to look away. Not for the dregs of my own mortality, nor because I feel any grand respect for them. It's simpler than that. Too many eyes. Too much risk. My crew's unspoken credo. I get off at Coney Island, quickly heading back to the Wonder Wheel, scanning for Reynard's unmistakably flamboyant red overcoat he somehow manages to pull off. No such luck. But maybe he's back at our usual spot. Or perhaps he swung by while I was out and left one of our wall signs. Instead, what greets me is an unsettling number of shady figures prowling round. 3, to be exact, all on edge, looking like they're on some sort of patrol. If they're kindred, they're probably Camarilla, considering this is their territory. It's not that I have an issue with them. Okay, I do, but let's not get into that right now. I'm just not up for socializing. One kindred run-in per night is already pushing my limits. Oh gosh, Cloak of Shadows or Silence of Death? Let's hide in plain sight. I let myself go. The meat, the veins, bones of my suit, the wind wrapping around me like the warm hug of a mother welcoming her child home, and I become one with the air. The curious glances of those passing by slip off me as I was never there. As soon as they vanish in the night, I reappear in plain sight and quickly head toward the Wonder Wheel. Reynard isn't there to greet me, and a quick look around yields no wall signs either. I turn on my heel, disappointed, and lock eyes with one of the prowlers I so skillfully dodged. Their gaze is steady, piercing, downright eerie. With no option left, I put on my best con woman face and give them a nonchalant nod, before walking away with all the confidence I can muster. Big mistake, it turns out. The prowler lurches forward, chasing after me as I break into a run. I've been to this amusement park many times before, so I know it like the back of my hand. I duck and weave through the rides and booths, shaking off my pursuer with ease. I have to leave. Coney Island, maybe even New York, just as D'Angelo warned. The city's become a no-go zone for Kindred, at least for me. See, the background still keeps flickering, but I don't think... is it supposed to do that? In the first scene, it kind of made sense since we were in D'Angelo's, shitty rundown place, which probably is, flickering lights and stuff. But now we're outside, so why does that keep happening? I just don't know. See? It did it again. Gosh. Okay. I'm almost to the entrance of the subway when I notice her. Actually, scratch that. It's my skin that reacts first, every hair standing on end as if electrocuted. An alarm blares in my head, screaming danger. Only then do I see her stepping smoothly out of the shadows, gait relaxed and yet somehow predatory. Enjoy the ride, sugar. Is that Val? I have no idea who she is, and I'm normally spot on at identifying those who'd prefer me finally dead. It's handy in my line of business. Sorry, we're closed for the night. Guess Yelp forgot to mention they don't serve the night owl crowd here. She doesn't even blink at my quip, and just keeps inching closer. I feel an urge to step back, but a quick side-eye informs me that the prowlers have returned and are standing right behind me. I'm afraid you're gonna have to come with me. Is visiting amusement parks illegal now? 'Cause it sure as hell isn't your turf. You're much too fancy for that, lady. Her smile stretches wider, but it's devoid of any real humor or warmth. She's only steps away now, and I'm effectively trapped. Visiting amusement parks is not illegal, no. However, some of your extracurricular activities... Now that's a different story. Somebody has been very naughty indeed. This has to be Val. Extracurricular activities? You lost me there. Oh, how she jests. I'm not going to run down the entire list of the council's accusations, but incidentally, that is where I'm taking you right now. Who the hell are you, even? It's Val! I am Valerie Duval Sugar, the scourge of New York. You can either accompany me without a fuss, or, well, let's just leave it at the first option. It's decidedly in your best interest. She gestures to one of the prowlers behind me, her henchman, I guess, who brandishes a hefty, sharpened stake. My throat tightens involuntarily. What the fuck does the council want with me? Our crew's business isn't all that against their precious traditions, is it? I am not without reason, darling. Your move? Oh, it's my move, ain't it? Because from my viewpoint, all roads seem to end up at the tip of that stake. Said tip jabs painfully against my back, right where my heart would be beating madly if it wasn't all shriveled up. Case in point. The council will undoubtedly release you, following a meticulous inquiry, of course. This is your final chance. Alright, Jesus, I'll fucking go with you. Valerie tosses me a so-called smile, the sort that could turn the sun into ice. Good girl. Now come. The council is waiting. God, I need a drink. My throat's already fucking sore. Whew. Okay. Oh no, the other, options have disappeared. Uh-oh. Should I do the detour first next time, then? Judgment at the Elysium. Now I'm being slammed with some bullshit accusations and hauled to Elysium for interrogation. What the fuck? There's no way I'm playing along. Well, maybe I am, seeing as I'm about to go fang to fang with New York's Ivory Tower. Cool. So this is their joint. The art hole! Seriously, could they have picked a more pretentious spot? The Ivory Tower splinter has wedged itself right in the middle of New York City's swankiest row. Welcome to the still heart of the Camarilla's intricate machinations. Here's where the local kindred clink their glasses, all the while plotting each other's demise. Unless, of course, you're a pariah like me, an outcast from a wrong clan with a knack for stirring up trouble. In which case, you're screwed from the get-go. Honestly, I preferred not knowing how posh it is. Places like this don't exactly roll out the red carpet for someone who deals with my kind of stuff. But since I've got no immediate escape plans, might as well play along. I'd happily shit on it on principle, but gotta admit, it seems pretty low-key on the outside. Not counting the two chuckling goons who clearly missed the memo on blending in with the crowd. And on that note, is there a giggle-worthy revelation you care to share with me, Bertie? Your demeanor hints at a job well done, does it not? The awkward freeze frame those two are stuck in would be comedy gold if I wasn't knee-deep in my own mess. Hound. Ooh, is that what they're called? Yeah, Miss Duval, sir. I mean, not really anything too wild, you know? Just like the usual stuff we're seeing, I guess. Does this usual stuff include dubious characters within a mile's reach of Elysium? Groups for which you were specifically instructed to watch out? 3 of them, to be exact, if my count holds true. 3 groups of what? Honestly, I didn't spot a thing. Then again, maybe I'm just not clued in on what to look out for. Let her cook? Oh my god, that's hilarious. Still, as she describes them, my mind races back to my unsuccessful meetup with Reynard and that weird run-in near our stash. Those dubious characters. Could they be what D'Angelo was hinting at? Maybe they're the clue to the baffling disappearance of my sire? Might as well drop a subtle hint without going full disclosure. Maybe I'll reel in some info while still playing the part. You talking about the conceal carry enthusiasts snooping around like Trouble's their middle name? Ran into a similar crew down by, near Washington Cemetery. Is there something more to them than being overly fond of their Second Amendment rights? I appreciate the input, but that shouldn't top your... I'm so bad at reading out loud, I'm so sorry. I appreciate the input, but that shouldn't top your list of worries at the moment, sugar. So much for intel fishing. I mean, I apologize, we really shouldn't have... Yes, you really should have. He said we really should have. Boy, that shot through him like an icy bullet. I wasn't exactly cozy myself, but that poor sod probably just shed the last ounce of warmth left in him. Return to your duties at once. I'll be expecting a detailed report within the next hour. Yes, Miss Duval, sir. He waddles off like a scolded kid, and his power fuses to meet our eyes. I throw Valerie a look of unwilling respect. She obviously holds some serious clout in these parts. Come now. Dragging your feet earns you no favors. And believe me, you could use a few. Is that an offer, Miss Duval? Her smile serves as enough of a silent veto to make it clear that prying any further is futile. Not exactly a good sign. She swings the door open, but there's no warm invitation in the gesture. The place doesn't quite live up to the posh art gallery image in my mind. Sure, there's a hint of what could be, oh god, what is that, Basquiat's? I don't know, on the walls, but most of the art is either shoved aside or covered up. My instincts shift into overdrive. First up, a quick room survey. Take a good look around. I might try to focus on something else, but the real show stealer is this stupidly massive table, littered with papers and a map of the 5 boroughs, spotted with enigmatic markers and chess pieces. 2 particular areas are heavy with pins, though their meaning is lost on me from this distance. Vintage trunks are strewn about without a second thought. But what really grabs the eye is a lineup of wickedly curved swords, sending a faint memory of a shiver up my spine. Taking it all in, this place screams less art gallery and more war room. Step 2 practically unfolds on its own. The room's a powder keg of kindred in the middle of an intense debate. The tension is palpable, suspicion dialed up to 11. That's when their voices finally break through the walls of my focus. Is that Kadir? Ooh, he's got a new, look. That's quite different than the suit I'm used to. Wouldn't have been such an issue if we had taken an action when the signs were so glaringly obvious. That long-haired hunk must be Kadir al-Asmai, the Camarilla sheriff. I've had my fill of stories about him, but now I can put a face to the reputation. Oh my god, he's still here? Thomas Arturo? No way. Is that Thomas? If only the rest of us were blessed with your profound gift of foresight, Sheriff, and life would be a walk in the park. Allow me to emphasize, our risks aren't limited to a single front. Acting on a gut feeling might work wonders in motion pictures. Here, in the real world, it's a different story. This one's a mystery to me, but the way he's navigating the conversation, he's clearly a heavyweight in these parts. Oh my god, it is Thomas But after what happened in the first game... I mean, okay, sure. Alright. Well, where's the character I played as then? I want him back. I liked him. Spare me the pretense of ignorance, Arturo. The pattern was unmistakable well over a month ago. Now. Arturo. Thomas Arturo? Shit. Reynard explicitly told me to steer clear of this guy's mess. The bickering rages on, and Valerie doesn't seem eager to reveal her catch, aka yours truly. Your playful decision to allow the Thin Bloods to appoint Larson as their primogen raises his final He's dead? Raises his final death to a level that can't be casually swept under the rug, Helene. Thin blood or not, it throws into question our grip on the situation. That gothed out Ally McBeal? Definitely Aisling Sternbridge, the Tremere Regent? I've been curious if Reynard's operations extended into the local chantry, but he was, as always, tight-lipped about his private affairs. Whoa, she looks cool. What would you have me do then? Unleash our dear sheriff without adequate reconnaissance, just in the name of haste? We can't overlook his excessive efficacy in the last skirmish, can we? Was that the prince? Doesn't the prospect of a masquerade breach give you pause? Behold the queen bee herself, Helene Panhard, the reigning prince of sticks up the ass. I figure we're all fond of keeping things the way they are, but there's times to just sit back and think, and then there's times when you gotta step up and do something bold. This feels like it's time to make a move. An anarch championing chaos. A revelation that somehow fails to astonish, O esteemed Baron of the Bronx. An anarch baron inside Elysium? Now that's a plot twist. What's the deal here? As I continue to look around, another figure catches my eye. A young-looking woman, entirely decked out in black, casually playing with a cigarette. Oh hey, it's you. The main character of the game that I didn't really care for. She shoots me a brief glance, clearly picking up on my curiosity. Humph. That ancient fart in the wheelchair, whispering to his servant. Who's that? Right as he is about to chime in, some lanky guy totally missed until now decides to butt in. Oh, is this the other dude that we can play as? My apologies for interrupting, Mr. Payne, but it appears Miss Duval has brought forth the issue you mentioned earlier. It might be wise to ensure she's not exposed to unnecessary information. How did I overlook this guy? He's all limbs and quirks, playing with some odd ring on his finger. He sticks out in this upscale bunch like a sore thumb. Is my mojo on vacation or what? Yes, thank you for that shrewd observation, Caitiff. She hurls those words like she's spitting venom. Whatever the opposite of sympathy is, she's brimming with it. Wait, Caitiff? Esteemed counsel, I give you the troublesome Ravnos neonate. I gather you all desire a swift resolution to this matter. Our disruptions have been minimal thus far. Let us hope this trend continues. As if on cue, every eye shifts to me. I'm not one to buckle under stage fright, but this silent ostracism is on a whole new level. In this room, I'm on my own. I understand the formal necessity of addressing all this, as well as my role in the matter. However, there are more pressing concerns demanding attention, far more pressing. Shall we discard all traditions too, while we're at it? We've pirouetted around the Hudson problem for more than a year, yet progress remains as stale as our debate. Certainly, a few additional moments to honor the very laws you spearhead so vigorously can't hurt, could they? The Hudson is a completely different beast, as you're well aware. We need to address the locust swarm engulfing New York before Camarilla's entire framework crumbles beneath the weight. And how does that sit with you, Payne? Just last night, two Duskborn and a fledgling from your clan were reduced to ashes, and we're still in the dark about who's pulling the strings. Shouldn't that worry you more than the policing of the purity of the Red Market? Humph. The old guy's servant steps forward, all awkward and rigid. In principle, I agree, Sheriff. However, should we continue to disregard even minor infractions, we broadcast a message of vulnerability. Vulnerability threatens our efforts within and beyond our borders, efforts we plan to carry on without interruption once the locust swarm, as you've termed it, is eradicated. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I'm inclined to agree with Gramps on this one. We can't simply let someone like that slip through the cracks without taking proper measures. So, you've assumed the role of his advocate now. Quite the bold ascent up the ladder of your own making, Julia. What's next on the horizon? Another hostile... Enough already. An awkward silence falls over the room, but it seems more about customs than actual respect. Guess we're all just creatures of habit, undead or alive. The sheer theatrics of the situation give me a moment to sneak a glance at... Sheriff. The sheriff's avoiding eye contact with me, which you'd typically read as weakness, but it's far from that. In fact, he's ice-cold and focused. His gaze meeting mine might be the last thing I see before bidding farewell to my undead existence. But there's something deeper. He appears untamed, like a wolf in an ambush, perfectly still, yet poised to tear into anyone foolish enough to trigger his fury. When the prince finally manages to speak, her voice lacks the confidence you'd anticipate from someone at the helm. We're all here for the same reason you are, Aisling. Or am I mistaken and you forgot where your loyalties lie? Even now, as she turns to me, her presence is weighed down. Not that I care. My head's on the chopping block, and she's the one calling the shots on whether it stays put or rolls off. Now let's put this issue to rest here and now. Strive for brevity, Sheriff. Understood. The weight of his gaze is enough for me to lower my shoulders. Whatever comes is not going to be pretty. Callie of Clan Ravnos, you stand accused of violating the New York Camarilla's praxis. Praxi? Is it praxi? I don't know. Infringing on the tradition of hospitality and endangering the Masquerade, among other things. Well, shit. Wait, on what grounds? Drop the act. There's a wealth of evidence in that recreational vehicle of yours, most of it confirming the suspicions we have been harboring over the recent months. Petty theft from our subjects, impersonation of other kindred, lineage forgery. Wow, need I go on? Okay, guilty. But when did they start caring? It's not like I'm the only one dipping my toes into the ocean of misdemeanors. At least they don't know about our artifact gig. But your involvement in large-scale blood and mortal trafficking outside our scrutiny and jurisdiction of the circulatory system is as obvious as it is dangerous to the stability of our domain. Large-scale my ass. We hardly move anything through New York, definitely not enough to impact their operation, plus we're super careful. Especially with your clientele often being in direct hostility to our interests, as Primogen Payne was kind enough to confirm. Seriously, this can't be right. We always check our clients. Well, Reynard does, but... Is this some twisted way to set an example? Are they playing the undead IRS? What is their game, really? While some might chalk this up to colossal stupidity, I am neither so forgiving nor tolerant of fraudsters, I've never heard that word, who respect nothing but their own gain. I'm not blind to the fact that Reynard's completely MIA in this whole story. He's the big cheese, the head honcho of the entire affair, though calling it an affair might be giving it too much credit. So why are they making it out like I'm the mastermind behind some global crime syndicate? This is not the time to be quiet, Raven. You know what? Fuck 'em. I'm not going down without a fight. Awe or daunt? I guess daunt. Uh-oh, hunger increases. Okay. Obviously, you found something. How could you not when you're the one who planted it there to begin with? Careful, Icarus. I've watched The Exonerated. I know the drill. Look, I get you need someone to pin this on, but you've got the wrong... Out of nowhere, something pierces my mind, shredding its defenses to dust. It's like my head's been turned inside out, exposing my every thought for their amusement. I whip my head towards the source of this eerie sensation, and boom, there's Kadir, the freaking sheriff, with those piercing eyes slicing through my layers of BS like it's cake. I earnestly hope you're not taking me for a fool. That would be a misstep of monumental proportions, unlike anything these walls have witnessed. I get a glimpse of Aisling out of the corner of my eye, silently mouthing words that look suspiciously like, "I beg to differ." Right then, a curved sword appears in Kadir's hands, as though he's just pulled it straight from thin air. Or maybe I'm just going nuts. Honestly, I'd be totally shitting my pants right now if that part of me wasn't offline. Ew. I gotta take a drink, sorry. Lot of reading. I'm not here for your games, little raven. Choose your next words carefully. I'd argue this utter lunacy clears her of charges. She couldn't even cobble together a feeble story, much less orchestrate clandestine trading of this magnitude. And yarn spinning is supposed to be your clan's forte, isn't it? Last chance, my dear. Is there anything of substance you wish to add? Holy shit. This can't really be happening, right? What's my move? What would Reynard do? Reynard. If he had the decency to pop up or at least toss me a fucking heads up, I wouldn't be knee-deep in this disaster. Is he really in trouble? Or... what if he bailed on me? Got a hint the Camarilla was breathing down his neck, and decided I'm the perfect scapegoat. Nah, that doesn't sound like him. But why target me and not Reynard? Sure, he's gone now, but could they really be that clueless about him? I'm totally lost, but I do know what he would probably do. His move would be to look out for number one, spill the beans more than necessary, to buy some time. Time is gold, and with enough of it, maybe there's a chance to wiggle out of this mess. It's all or nothing now. Hit the jackpot or end up porcupined with stakes. Guess there's not much point in playing dumb, huh? Couldn't agree more. Game on. Alright then. So, I indeed am tangled up in this little blood trafficking operation, playing a pretty crucial part if I do say so myself, though I guess not everyone's on board with that assessment. I do the logistics, pushing merchandise through a dark series of web channels. I messed that up, but who cares? Every eyebrow in the room goes up, except for the cigarette aficionado in the back, who lets out a slight smirk. I mean, a little controlled drama never hurts in the short con. All totally secure and anonymous. No slips about, you know, our thing. Everything masked by the hustle of more mundane black markets. No way we're blowing the Masquerade. We deal in stored blood, as you might have caught on. Not just any blood, though. Our merch is a little jazzed up, thaumaturgically enhanced, to be exact. It's the only way they'd work, as you're well aware. I am, but that's not for you to find out. Right, of course. Oh, and we also deal in, let's just call them family treasures. But honestly, that's more of like a side gig than anything serious. but we're extremely careful about picking our clients and really thorough when it comes to making deals. You know, the traditions and all. I was sure we'd never even come close to breaking them. At least that's what he led me to believe. I had a hunch there were some dodgy dealings in his more secret ventures. To deny that would be flat out lie. But let's be real. I'm way outside the inner circle to have a real sway in those parts of his enterprise. For a brief moment, an uneasy silence sweeps over the room. His enterprise? Is this a joke? Who exactly is this he you're referring to? I give it my all to appear as blameless as possible. I presumed you knew it was my sire who's masterminding it all. The room's heavy silence is soon filled with hushed whispers following my revelation. Good. If fortune is on my side, I might just live to see another moonrise. Indeed, how fortuitous. And your sire would be... There's only one other notable rogue in the city who comes to mind. Someone dipping in and out, known for their shifty nature, of which I was somewhat aware. Reynard Cassel. You nailed it, sir. Another brief moment of silence gets interrupted by the girl in black who addresses the sheriff. I can practically hear the cogs turning in your head, Kadir. What's your take on it? Truth be told, it does add up, though I had him pegged as more of a con artist than a trafficker. Then why hasn't he been apprehended yet, Sheriff? Are you secretly endorsing activities that impede the circulatory system's operations? For your own good pain, I'll pretend I didn't catch that. Or would you care to question my dedication to our cause again? Be warned, my patience wears extremely thin these nights. Can we put this bickering on hold, at least for the moment? An opportunity staring me in the face. How could I resist squeezing myself right into it? One more thing. Reynard and I had a meeting lined up with a client a few hours back, but he never showed up. In the whole year and a half I've been in this gig, he's never just vanished like this. And what do you make of it? Now, with the floodgates of truth wide open, it's time to dive into the art of lying my ass off. To be honest, I'm not sure. But now that I think of it, he's changed over the past month, become a lot more erratic than usual. Ready for my theory? I'm pretty sure he caught wind of your lot and decided to feed me to the flames while he made a run for it. Whether they're swallowing my story or they're just tired of my presence, it feels like I'm nudging things the way I want them. Not everyone's convinced, though. An unwitting pawn betrayed by her master. A likely story. Suitable for the stage indeed, but in this context... If I may. Damn it, Podrick. Is that how you... Podrick? Porrick? I'm just gonna say Podrick. Sorry if that's wrong. Don't go getting yourself into... Baron's warning arrives a bit too late. Uh-oh. Instantly the others shift their focus, fixing their eyes on the caitiff with unmistakable hostility. It's clear they're not exactly fond of him. Since you've already disrupted the proceedings, you may as well say your piece, mediator. Very well, then. I am inclined to believe her, at least in the aspects most significant to the interests of our allies. Thanks, you mysterious weirdo. As ever, your assertion remains devoid of substance. My guy's advice is pretty much always on point. His track record speaks for itself. The sheriff has a point that seems to hold water. Her sire might just be the one at fault. She's essentially a non-entity, is she not? A nobody that slipped under the radar until, by a stroke of sheer bad luck, she got caught red-handed. Do excuse the pun. When you give it another look, the evidence you have collected should indeed back up that claim quite convincingly. And what grounds your intricate evaluation precisely? My judgment is shaped by your vast experience and simply tempered by reasoning and intuition. It changes little regarding the consequences she must face for her complicity in her sire's crimes. It's do or die. How about I serve you Reynard's head on a silver platter in exchange for mine, unscathed, on my shoulders? Kadir's stare pins me under silent disapproval, but he lets me, as the curly-haired asshole put it, spin my yarn. I know all his secret spots in this town, plus the spots he wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. I'm wired into his network, his contacts. I've got his playbook down, and I can stay one step ahead of him with ease. Just give me a chance, and we all will be thanking our lucky stars by the end. They slip into quiet introspection, or maybe they're just playing a round of mental chess, trying to read each other's minds without uttering a word. I have reservations about this daring proposition. Consider the potential fallout if this entire situation spirals out of control. Kadir throws up his hand, clearly over dealing with my case. Capturing this whelp proved hardly a challenge. I wouldn't sweat the idea of catching her again. Ouch. What's more, entrusting her with Castle resolves two issues at once. It swiftly eliminates her presence and enables us to prioritize genuine concerns. But someone has... I'm getting tired. But someone has to keep a constant watch over her. Valerie, perhaps one of yours. A batshit crazy idea burst into my mind. The kind of gamble that could either turn out brilliantly or spectacularly implode. Let the dice roll. How about him? I jabbed my finger towards the quiet caitiff. Podrick, was it? I'm gonna Google that after this scene is up to make sure I'm saying that right. I'm probably not. Actually, I'm gonna do that right now. One moment. Oops, I just bumped the mic. Sorry. Apparently it's like Parik? More like Parik? Parik. Parik. Okay. Okay, gotcha. Parik, was it? His expression shifts to one of utter confusion as he catches the subtle smirks of the council members. Surely you're not considering... This could play out quite favorably, I must admit. Quite favorably indeed. Holy shit, it actually worked. Very well. I said that so weird. Very well. Porrick Conroy. I hear Bly, Jesus Christ. I'm too hyped up. I hereby I hereby appoint you as the agent caretaker for this Ravnos neonate. I hate to break it to you, Sheriff, but this call is out of your turf. He's with us Anarchs, and you know it well enough. Technically, when he took on the whole peacemaker role for our cliques, he acquired a level of neutrality, so yeah. Kadir redirects his gaze to the caitiff. Her responsibility is to ensure she fulfills the assignment within 4 nights, starting now. Any slip-ups on her end will reflect on your record as well. Do we have an understanding? 4 nights. Not a whole lot, but better than nothing. Porrick's resigned nod mirrors exactly how I feel. Now, back to where we were. Their sudden disinterest in me is a clear get-out-of-here signal. Seems like I've managed to slide from one pit to another. But hey, I've bought myself a little time, and in my world, that's precious currency. Unless, of course, that caitiff turns out to be a wild card. Whew! Okay, well that's that. That part ended. I'm gonna take a long fucking sip of this drink. Oh, okay. Up in the air, main quest. I bought myself some time to find Reynard and scram out of this city before the Camarilla catches on. The only trouble is this caitiff tick clinging to my back, which honestly is kind of my own fault. I need to figure out how to shake him off. Can I save yet? Should I save? Oh, okay, no, we're good. We might not need air to nourish our vitae. I'm still not 100% sure how to pronounce that. So I'm gonna wing it. But I still let out a sigh of relief when the doors to Elysium slammed shut behind us. Talk about a crowd of entitled assholes, holed up in their ivory tower, sneering at kindred just scraping by to make dead ends meet. I hope they get a nice sharp stake to the foot. But hey, it's all good. My golden words and silver tongue managed to buy me some time to find Reynard and get the hell out of Dodge before these clowns catch on that we've already hit the West Coast. The only hiccup for now is keep making that face at me, and it might just stick that way. I pinch my lips together and squint for good measure. What, are we reverting to playground tactics now? Hush, I'm concentrating on blowing up your brain with my mind. If it keeps you quiet, by all means, keep trying. I shoot him a defiant glare and whirl around, his exasperated sigh chasing after me. Be what may, this caitiff tick's gotta go. Look, the sun is about to rise. We can pick up this little dance of ours again tomorrow night, okay? Let's get moving. My haven isn't even in this part of town. Hold up, what do you mean, your haven? Sigh. Alright, hear me out. I get that this whole thing is a bit of a pain for the both of us. Trust me. I have no more desire to mind you than you have to be minded. But let's rewind for a second. You were the one who picked me out at Elysium and got us both into this mess. If I let you out of my sight, things will get proper and pleasant for me. And believe me, I am speaking from experience. But you will be torn to shreds by Kadir's hounds before you could say, oops. They'll sniff you out sooner rather than later. This is a stone-cold fact. So, how about we skip the theatrics and you tag along to a place I know is safe? We can regroup and figure out our next move come nightfall. He stops mid-sentence. Fingers crossed for whatever is the kindred version of a stroke. Maybe I could slip away and get to my RV. No, your RV is completely off the table. The fuck's wrong with my RV? Valerie took her sweet time turning it inside out. Plus, the spot you chose for parking isn't exactly the epitome of safety, putting it mildly. It's a fortress on wheels, still shutters and everything. It's kept me from turning to ash so far, hasn't it? Why does its parking spot suddenly matter? Believe me, these nights, location is everything. He stays silent for a moment, likely thinking he's gained the upper hand in our verbal spar. I still count it as my win. Nevertheless, he starts yapping again soon after. In any case, we need a place to rest, and my haven is the safest choice. I'd really hate to resort to violence, but don't presume I won't drag you there if the need arises. It's your call. Every time I don't get a say, it somehow turns out to be my call. Come on, what do you think I'll do? Run away? Obviously. Oh, ye of little faith. Would I try to bail on you on Christmas night? You sticking around might just count as a true holiday miracle. And no, I don't bank on holiday miracles. If you are under the impression I'll let you out of my sight, then you are not paying attention. Come on, let's not dilly-dally. Dilly-dally? Did they embrace him in a Dickens novel? Talk about being charming. Alright, after you. Stubborn as I am, it turns out Mr. Thin and Mean over there is just as immovable. Arguing seems futile. Time for a different approach. I toss him a thoughtful glance, noticing him leisurely fiddling with one of those ugly rings adorning every conceivable part of his hands. What a jerk. My gang would eat him alive. But I can deal with him on my own just fine. All I need is a little bit of inspiration. After a quick look around, a couple of schemes start to take shape. I spy with my little eye a handful of mortals daring to navigate the frosty streets. Many of them stagger along on the frozen sidewalks, whether from the ice or generous helpings of alcohol they've indulged in earlier. It's quite the tempting scene. I'm not exactly famished. I managed to grab a bite on the road before hitting New York. But the caitiff's in the dark about that. And honestly, I'm pretty skilled at acting the part of the hungry predator, if I do say so myself. I halt abruptly, allowing a series of convulsive twitches to seize me. What's with the drama now? I'm feeling off. Haven't fed in a bit. It's starting to get to me. I don't think I can handle it much longer. I don't think he's gonna buy this. You're telling me you cannot endure even for a few more hours? No. With my clan, hunger hits differently. It's swift and merciless. It's just how we are. Been there once. Never want to go back. He shoots me a look filled with skepticism, but I just mimic a shiver, my body quaking as if I'm starved. Yeah, I'm lying all right, but he doesn't know that. Ravnos are a rare sight, practically unheard of around here. Or anywhere, really. So in his eyes, my performance could very well be genuine. To further my agenda, I press a hand to my temple, my eyes tracking a solitary figure puffing away in a nearby nook. Had that Valerie skank not blindsided me, I might have... Alright, enough. Just make it quick. I'll stay close, just in case. We make our way towards the isolated figure. Horik positions himself to block any escape, while I face our target. The guy blows out a cloud of smoke, his eyes dazed, mumbling under his breath. Sorry, pal. I lean in as if I wanted to give him the kiss, but instead I push him hard, sending him stumbling straight into Porik's open arms. And just like that, the guy topples to the ground, while the caitiff somehow remains upright despite being thrown off balance. It's my cue to seize the moment and zoom away in the opposite direction, pushing my legs as fast as they'll go. I have no idea where I'm going, but solitude sounds perfect right now. Even after everything tonight, it looks like I'm on a roll. Must be that Ravnos charm working its magic. Oh no. Oh no. I instantly regret my choice the moment I dash into an alleyway. A dodgy crew handling crates that seem to be filled with combat gear snaps their attentions towards me the moment I make my entrance, and they've seen my inhuman speed. Shit. Caleb, look. Squeaker. Oh, come on. What did I ever do to you, Lady Luck, to jinx me like that? Squad, to your positions. They begin to circle me, exchanging nods. It's only then that I notice their tactical gear and the unmistakable outline of wooden stakes. Is this the infamous Special Affairs Division? Seriously, fuck my own life. Reynard was spot on. I'm always too quick to pop the champagne. Back off, would you? This isn't gonna end well for you. Shut your filthy gob, leech. He whips out a stake to compensate for his shaky tone. I'm not one for head-on combat, but it's way past time for cunning. From the sides, now. They come at me all at once with an attack surprisingly uncoordinated for such a well-equipped team. That disarray is the only reason I may survive this. As a flash of heat surges through me, their movements seem to slow down. I grab the first one by the arm as he swings a knife at me, diving my nails into his armpit. Ouch. Everything turns a shade of red I find disturbingly pleasant. Next, I leap and spin, taking the squeaky girl down with a kick that leaves her neck at a grotesque angle, her body crumpling to the ground. Their leader waves his stake in hesitation, searching for an opening. Rude. Bring it on, you undead whore. I don't give him the chance. In an instant, I'm at his throat, tearing and ripping. His blood washes over my skin like a hot shower. It feels comforting. As the chaos fades, there I am, perfectly unharmed amid the carnage, swept up in the rush of victory. Tonight is definitely my night. But then reality strikes, quite literally. Knocked onto my knees and suddenly dazed, I scramble to get up. I need to get out before the caitiff catches up. As I try to rise, a kick sends me sprawling. Another thug, one that I missed, sits on top of me, stake in hand, aims straight at my heart. I react instantly, bucking my hips and reaching for his elbow, ready to tear and rip, but I can't. And I don't have to. Suddenly, hands encircle the thug's neck, twisting it in a complete circle, reminiscent of some old horror movie owl. He drops beside me, lifeless, as the caitiff casually retrieves the stake. So, hunger took you out, huh? Piss off. I believe thank you is the phrase you're looking for. You should be glad I caught up to you so quickly. He extends his hand with grace, and there's part of me itching to grab it, to pull at it and literally take him down a peg. But I let the moment pass. The brawl's worn me down, and dawn's creeping up on us. I refuse his help, pushing myself up with a mix of pride and fatigue. Why don't you hold on to the stake? Consider it a memento of the time you nearly got taken out by a few hunters and needed my intervention. A slice of humble pie, if you will. I tucked the stake into my belt bag, feeling more awkward about it than I care to show. For the record, I had it under control, but wait, hunters? Of course. You didn't seriously think it was the SAD, did you? He lets out a chuckle, the first one I've heard from him. It feels out of place, I think. Do not take it personally, but if it were the SAD you were up against, you'd have been taken out before you even realized there was a threat. They're too well organized, too professional. These guys, however. He sweeps his hand around, gesturing towards the fallen hunters. Well, they haven't quite mastered the element of surprise. Still, running into that many in one place? I know Kadir mentioned something about a locust swarm back at Elysium, but shit, that's more than just bad luck. Indeed. New York is nowhere near as safe for our kind as it once was. This is not your typical hunter behavior. It's an anomaly, and its source is still unknown. Until we figure it out, I strongly advise against sprinting like a demented cheetah, biting whatever's within arm's reach, or showing off your unique powers. For your own safety, assume you're under constant surveillance. Choose your moments wisely. It's the second time I'm hearing this kind of warning tonight. Maybe I should actually start paying attention. And you might want to rethink your attempts to ditch me. I might not arrive in time to save you the next time you get in trouble. The next time? He seems to have me all figured out. Alright, maybe sticking with you might have some benefits. Am I hearing things, or is that a compliment? Don't let it go to your head. I don't expect a repeat. Now about that haven of yours. Alright. One moment. Where the caitiff flies low, main quest. The sun's about to rise and I've had more than enough for one night. All I need is to sink into the deep, dark void of rest, and tonight, Porix Haven is a place to be. The walk feels endlessly long. I try to focus on the task of locating Reynard, but my thoughts just won't line up right. Definitely not a promising end to the night. Before I know it, we're already there. This is our stop. Let's head inside. Dawn is nearly upon us. He steps through the door first, but leaves it open for me. I see it as a slight sign of trust. Or maybe I'm just too exhausted to be on the lookout for tricks. Home sweet home. Peeking into a kindred's haven is kind of like trying to read their diary. Assuming they have one, of course. It's like that for humans too, though. Our van, which I share with my crew, might tell a story of covert operations, daring escapes, and tight-knit camaraderie. For those with a flair for drama, that is. To anyone else, it would just seem like a mobile hideout for a few smugglers. Granted, I haven't exactly been a guest in many havens, but this one is practically shouting its love affair with books and a certain, let's say, relaxed approach to tidiness. That in part probably doesn't expect to have company, like, ever. Every inch of it is covered in books, papers, and random old notes, a wild mosaic of ideas, from the mundane to the outright unhinged. I swear, there are even scribbles on napkins in the mix. Porix seems to be a bit flustered that I have caught his haven in such disarray. He rushes to clean up, picking up an armful of paper along the way. Make yourself at home. The couch is all yours. At least the windows, all still open, have been secured with steel shutters. All in all, the place feels rather cozy. Pretty decent haven, I think. Just a tad too lonely for my tastes. Among the clutter, a vast collection of James Joyce stands out, surrounded by other books that feel more like homework than leisure reading. Porix choice in literature? Definitely on the no-fun side. The stack of papers he's clutching is kept under wraps and impossible to read, but the ones littering the rest of the space, they're up for grabs. I stretch my neck to get a closer look, ditching any attempt to be sneaky, only to find some disjointed snippets about history, voices, oracles, and the like. I shoot him a disappointed frown, only to be met with his painfully blank gaze. Clearly, someone's got their poker face down pat. A history buff. Don't take this the wrong way, but you totally give off that vibe. Why would I take it the wrong way? I give a casual shrug, and he offers a smile in return. It's not exactly brimming with joy, but hey, I'll take what I can get. Get some rest. We've got a busy night ahead of us. It's hard to put up a fight against common sense, especially when you're running on empty. I give him a vague wave, settle onto the couch amid a few stray papers, and let myself sink into the deep, dark void of rest. Few hours prior. Ooh, Tremere Laboratory! The steady drone of machinery blends with the aroma of ancient dust and robust alchemy, conjuring a palpable atmosphere that teases the senses. It's a relentless reminder of the raw power in action, a sensation that never leaves you, no matter how far away you go. Is it a common theme across Tremere Labs, or did she add a personal twist just for my sake? Bah, that's beside the point tonight. Tonight, the stakes are sky high. No room for getting sidetracked. I'm only going to ask this once. Do you understand? You do understand all the specifics, correct? The procedure and the risks that come with it? My gaze drifts down to my necklace, the symbol of my cause. I nod in silent agreement. Make no mistake, should you attempt to violate our arrangement, I have my methods to track you down. Believe me, that would be far less pleasant than what's coming next. Let's just get this over with, shall we? I'm instantly hit with pain so intense. It feels like my flesh is being torn asunder. No matter how much I try, I can't black out for even the briefest moment of blissful reprieve. My consciousness clings on, as stubborn as I am, as if making me pay for my plentiful sins, or paving the road for the new ones to come. But the agony is worth it, and so is the prize that's coming after. Okay, I'm gonna guess that that's maybe the sire? Maybe? Yeah, I think I have to end the night. I don't think there's anything else to do. Yep. Night 2. Hoo-hoo-hoo. December 2024. 6 nights till New Year. Ooh, so this is in the future. Okay, I'm wondering, should we stop here for the first episode? I want to keep going. Nope. Again and again, it's the same sensation. A sudden plunge into frigid waters, snapping me back to reality. Not exactly a graceful awakening, more of a shit, here we go again kind of moment. In the midst of this routine, there's always that distinctive first touch, the thing that jolts me back to consciousness. This time, it's the gentle rustling of pages turning, a subtle nudge back to the waking world. I crack open an eye and look around. In his derelict armchair, Porrick sits bent over a heavy tome, pencil in hand, etching thoughts onto the yellow pages. His gaze never leaves the text, but he must have sensed me awaken. Yeah, that was what it said. But he must have sensed me awaken. That doesn't seem right. Good evening. I hope you slept well. I did, actually. Not worse than in any other place, at least. You kind of take what you can get when you live on the road. I am well aware. Oh? Am I in the presence of another esteemed vagabond? More of a traveler by necessity. Still, baffling as it is, it seems we have something in common. So, did I snooze through anything noteworthy? He jots down one last note and carefully closes the book before finally glancing up at me, face unyielding and cold as ice. That figure wasn't Porrick, was it, in that flashback? I don't know. That would depend on your definition. That would depend on your definition of noteworthy. But I've been pondering our next steps. Oh, do tell. I have been working for the Anarchs for the past 2 years, and forged friendly relationships with some of them, Torque included. Although in this particular case, I would rather avoid his presence. Troubles in paradise? Trouble in the Bronx. Torque is more than occupied with the current goings-on within his turf. He may have neither time nor patience for a visit. He glances at the window, clearly wrestling with his thoughts. Pity. So what do you propose, then? The allegations against your sire. See, I happen to know someone who used to be deeply entrenched in the dark corners of the Red Market. An anarch, working not too far from here. If Castle truly wields as much influence as the court suggests, my contact could offer substantial aid. Substantial, you say? Wow, can't argue with that, except it's a no-go, amigo. His face scrunches up in surprise and he repeats the words as if trying to taste them for poison. A no-go, amigo? Look, I get it. You have friends and contacts aplenty, but so do I. Also, I know Reynard Cassel like the back of my hand. We've been dealing all around the city on and off for almost 2 years, and there's gotta be somebody here who knows where he bailed. Porrick furrows his brow, waiting for me to elaborate further. This is a real quandary. 2 little angels whispering steadily into my ears. One having fallen spectacularly into the pits of hell, while the other has only sauntered vaguely downwards, spouting completely contradictory notions. In the end, I ignore them both, as I often do, and choose a third option, the best option, one where I don't have to reveal much at all. There's this one guy who hangs around Harlem. Eli Sansaric? Apparently he's one of the few Apparently he's one of the few kindred that didn't burn with hatred for Reynard, so it must mean they were getting along. He tilts his head slightly. At the name of my, well, let's just call it a contact. Eli Sansaric. The serpent? Why? Do you have something against them? Do you know what the ministry... Never mind that. Do you have the slightest inkling what Sansaric's capable of? Oh, I'm not fond of that look. The one filled with pity. But somehow I can't seem to bring out a credible lie to spite him. Go on, enlighten me. To put it bluntly, only in the most desperate situation would anyone with an ounce of sanity consider seeking out Eli Sansaric. Perfect lead, given my circumstances. I can go find him now, have a little chat, and be back in no time. We could go find him, but it's far from the best course of action at the moment. Sansaric is known to be extremely dangerous and territorial. We should not take him lightly. I propose we go to the Anarchs first. At least there we will not be in danger of losing our heads. You're being so dramatic. We're gonna be fine. What's the worst that can happen? I believe us literally losing our heads is most definitely in the realm of possibility. We could split the party, you know. Again, we most certainly could not. See, I think... Sweet lord, this guy. Time to kick things up a notch. I fish a weighted coin out of my belt bag. Whoops, sorry, I think I reached my limit there. How about we just flip a coin? Heads, we go to Sansaric. Tails, we go to Harlem. You mean the Bronx. I hate it when people actually listen to what I say. I love both of these characters a lot. Fine, call it already. I see him hesitate, eyes going blank for a moment. His hand almost inadvertently crawls towards his ring, spinning it around a couple of times. Squinting at it, I finally manage to make out that it's a dice ring, one of those real dorky ones that D&D nerds wear when they want to look their silliest. Finally, Porrick looks back at me, gaze sharp as ever. Alright, but you call it. Suit yourself, buddy. It's your funeral. Tails. I lower my head to hide a little smile. Aha! The weighted coin glimmers in the warm light of the floor lamp as it soars through the air, spinning quicker than a wheel of fate. It lands safely on my outstretched hand and I flip it onto my palm, showing it confidently to Porrick without even a glance. He looks at it and smiles up at me like the cat that got the cream. Heads, fancy that. Seems we are going to the Bronx after all. What? Impossible. Truly impossible. This has never happened before. Traitorous coin. Have I not been good to you? Have I not kept you safe in my pocket all these years? Is that how you repay me? I mean, what the actual fuck? Who is he? Did David Blaine finally freeze to death and turn into this lanky trickster? How did he... best 2 out of 3? Come on, we can take my car. Well, shit. That's one battle lost. Yeah, your car. Wait, you mean the black rattletrap out front? It's a perfectly serviceable vehicle, whose minuscule size allows for... You know what? How about we just go, and you can enjoy your minuscule vehicle in silence. I love these two. They're very funny together. A is for anarchy, main quest. Stupid coin. Gotta take the L, I guess. Not my ideal move, but tagging along with the caitiff might get me some answers. Plus, having seen Torque's reaction at Elysium, those anarchs might have a soft spot for Porrick, and share more than they would if I asked myself. Porrick's car is indeed a perfectly serviceable vehicle, and that's legally all I'm allowed to say. I'm having a blast shuffling through all the ancient cassette tapes he's collected, judging his taste in music out loud. Another Bohemian Rhapsody? Seriously? Huh, I thought I only had one of them. Terrific. He says it with the straightest of faces, and I can't help but burst into laughter. God forbid you give with the times, but how about a legit car radio? You know, to update your playlist? Says the one sporting a Walkman on her belt. Touché, I guess. Still, I do have a soft spot for Queen. It never gets old. Just saying, you're missing out on a whole lot if you ignore stuff from the 21st century. The music scene's been booming. Ever heard of K-pop? You're giving up some serious, I'm gonna mispronounce this, sauce-saying energy, my guy. He eyes me with sudden interest. Do you think any of them have released cassette tapes? Aside from our contrasting views on modernity, our little journey proceeds smoothly. Too smoothly, in fact. A violent itch grows within me. To tease, to scratch, prod, and I can't help but give in. Let's shake him until he spills? Jeez. You said you've been in New York for 2 years now? That sounds about right. And how's that been for you? Do you like it here? I do. What's up with all these questions? Killing time, mostly. We can play I Spy instead, if you prefer. I'd rather not. Okay. So how did you end up with the Anarchs? What? Would you believe me if I said it was an accident? Maybe. What kind of accident? I landed in New York about 2 years ago. Shortly after, I managed to save a handful of kindred. Mostly of the Anarch variety, although I do believe there was some Camarilla in the mix. It earned me what I would call tentative trust from Torque. And not much else, as you might have assessed back in Elysium. Wow, how noble. So how did you go from kindred hero to Camarilla's gopher? There's a pause, as if he's genuinely considering the trajectory of his own life. I have a knack for playing peacemaker, apparently, and while Torque considers it an asset, the Camarilla thinks it is a chink in his armor. Compromise isn't really in their vocabulary, you know. Oh, I definitely do know. But what if... Jesus Christ. But if you save some Camarilla kindred as well, why not start with them and curry some favor? They're the fat cats of New York, right? I am a caitiff, Kali. My kind is not exactly welcome around the ivory tower. The rare feeling of guilt washes over me, even though there's no bitterness in his voice. After a brief, uncomfortable silence, I abruptly change the subject and lead the conversation onto a slightly different track. Right, so you've been rolling with the Anarchs for a while now. Any cool stories about them? Tips on how to fit in? Tips? Why bother? You would not follow them anyway. Touché? Any cool stories then? He hesitates briefly. His hands, while placed firmly on the steering wheel, meet in the middle as his fingers start nervously fiddling with the dice ring. Deep down, the logical part of me knows I should back off. But the readily available part, the one right beneath my cold, dead skin, lurches at this opportunity to sneak straight into the vault of secrets. Come on, I'm dying of boredom here. You must have some wild tales to tell, something not found in your pile of books. Fidgeting with the ring stops. His hands return to the perfectly sensible 9-3 on the wheel. No wild tales, really. I mostly just talk to people. Riveting. What kind of people? Thin bloods, for the most part. I was particularly interested in one called Sana, but mentioning her tends to shut conversations down. Probably because she met her final death 4 years back, at the hands of the sheriff, no less. Oh, so that was 4 years ago, huh? Coteries of New York. Kadir? Wow, she must have really stirred the pot. Well, she did go on a mortal killing spree, but I am not one to judge. But I am not one to judge whether or not the punishment fit the crime. Well, I know a thing or two about walking the line between right and wrong, so I don't think I'm in any place to judge her either. Still, what pushed her to do it? He hesitates again. Why so secretive about a thin blood going rogue? She claimed she was acting under orders from Kane, urging her to kill. My eyebrow shoots up, waiting for him to continue. He allegedly told Sana the end of the world is nigh, and somehow that devolved into a killing spree. And she never questioned why the creator of our whole species would specifically choose her? Just straight up went on a rampage? For some reason, this perfectly innocent remark really gets on his nerves. Look, I am just telling you what I've heard. I never met Sana myself. I just found her condition fascinating. Hey, no need to get worked up. I glanced at your research notes. I know you're really into the inner voices stuff. I'm not judging, it's just... We can end this conversation any time you want, really. It's just that you have some really niche hobbies, you know? May I interest you in, I don't know, crocheting or something? It's a lot less intense than chasing crazies. The kindred might not need air. But Park sighs so profoundly it probably echoes into the very afterlife, or wherever else Sana went after meeting her final death. I'm not sure what I expected from an anarch outpost in one of the most densely populated cities in the America? Maybe a sewer hideaway sitting right next to the local rats. Maybe a few Prohibition-era cellars, linked by a web of secret corridors. Maybe even a chaotic squat in a dilapidated brownstone. What's a brownstone? But a grimy auto repair shop with a bold red sign proudly declaring it's Malto's place? That definitely wasn't on my list. Are you sure this is the spot? I can ask for directions or something. Ouch, the silent treatment. Park parks carefully, checking the side... That's like a tongue twister. Park parks carefully, checking the side mirrors to see if he's aligned perfectly with the curb. Finally, with a satisfied nod, he turns the engine off. Let's go. And he gets out of the car just like that. I follow, of course, not because he told me to, but, well, hanging solo in a car at night gets real boring. Real fast. Even with Queen doo-dah-daying in the background. Mato, are you there? I fully expect company, but I still flinch when a huge, burly kindred steps out from the shadows, quieter than a mouse. His grime-covered arms are all set to give Parik, a bear hug. But he stops himself at the very last moment, either from plain common sense or because I'm there. Patty, looking good, my man. What can I do you for? Need me to take a look at that old clunker of yours? Patty? Clunker? Oh, this is gonna be good. I grin at Patty expectantly, only to be met with his gaze full of discontent. My clunker is in top shape, thank you, Mato. Besides, I can see you are rather busy tonight. Still, I hoped you would have a moment for a few questions, though. It won't take long. Mato erupts into laughter, patting Patty on the shoulder with a hand as big as a dinner plate. Any mortal would get pulverized by a friendly little pat like that. This gentle giant is truly something else. Anything for you, my man. And speaking of, who's this you brought? Mato's gaze cuts right through me, his hawkish eyes surprisingly cool and sharp, despite his rugged exterior. A split second passes before I realize he's sizing me up, and that I'm coming short. Mato probably wouldn't spare me a second glance if it weren't for Porrick. Mato, meet Kali. She's gotten a bit of a situation with the ivory tower. You see, well, to put it short, her execution is on hold, provided she delivers the council her sire's head on a silver platter. Mato lets out a long whistle, his eyes gaining a touch of warmth, and, dare I say, grudging respect. Damn, what's your sire accused of? That's kinda what we're trying to piece together. Ever come across a lick who goes by Reynard Cassell? Reynard, huh? Can't say it rings a bell. What's his deal? Blood trade, among other things. Porrick says it quietly, sharply, with no hesitation, and I swear I see a bit of vitae drain from Mato's face. He almost drops a dirty rag he's been fiddling with ever since we got here. A tense silence fills the air, stretching like endless rubber band. Thankfully, just as I'm a second away from blurting out some nonsense to break it, Mato speaks up. I left that shit behind, man. You know that. I know. Believe me, we're not here to dredge up the past. We just need a direction, nothing more, nothing less. Surely there is someone who's still in the loop, someone who might have heard some rumors. Mato falls silent, avoiding Porrick's eyes. Internally, I'm giving Porrick a standing ovation. I mean, I'm well aware I've misjudged my caitiff caretaker, but damn if he's not a wire puller. Maybe he could even teach me a thing or two. I get it, it's a difficult situation for you, but, I was really hoping you could help me out here. I know I would not hesitate to reciprocate, as I have in the past. Yeah, I know. He seems more resigned than irritated, but still refuses to speak, eyes downcast, body language borderline deer in headlights. There must be some juicy history between these two, and I make sure to remember that info for later. Porrick shoots me a quick look, but before he can double down on the guilt tripping, I flash my most charming grin and step forward. Oh no. You see, I've only known Patty here for what, a single night? Turns out that's more than enough to figure he's pretty good at killing the vibe when he puts his mind to it. That earns me an outraged glare from the caitiff, which I cheerfully ignore, and an unexpected chuckle from Mato. I count my blessings and push on. Look, I don't know the first thing about you. The whole blood trade drama or whatever, that's none of my business. I'm not about to dig in your dirt. Survival's the game we're all playing, right? Throwing a Reynard quote out there is kind of cheap, but it tends to work like a charm. So, I'll back off. Plus, I'm in a spot where I can't really afford to have anyone else in this town pissed off at me. Yeah, gotcha. It's just that... No need to spell it out for me. Gnarly pasts are sort of my thing, you know? Let's just drop the whole shebang, alright? He nods hesitantly, and I'm not sure if he caught on to my attempt to win him over. I really hope he didn't. Because I've already scanned his workshop and caught a bait or two I can feed him to keep him on the hook. Hey, you run a garage, yeah? Got any spare hydraulic jacks lying around? My leveling system completely bailed on me a few nights back. Leveling system? That's a new one. Didn't figure you for an RV type. What's your ride? I mean, it kind of started its life as a Class C Mini Winnie. What the fuck does that mean? But after years of us messing with it and adding stuff, it's basically a custom build now. Oh, and it's a six-wheeler. He lets out a whistle so clear it's almost musical. Modified chassis, huh? Color me intrigued. I'd love to get a look at that beast. Maybe it's just a simple fix for the jacks. Like some wiring gone bad. No power getting through. Nope, checked that already. When those jacks decide it's game over, there's no coming back. It's not a big deal, really. I just hate having anything break on me when I'm out and about, you know? Tell me about it. I used to spend a lot of time on the road myself. Yeah? What was your haunt? Duluth, Minnesota. Been ages since I went back, though. Why's that? Oh, you know, stuff. Business. Responsibilities. And then I just sorta gave up on it. Well, if you ever get hit with a sudden wave of nostalgia, I could swing by and pick you up. After I'm done with all this Camarilla bullshit, of course. It might be Hope playing tricks on me, but he seems more at ease now. Maybe even warmed up to me by a degree or two. You're Class C, that's your haven, right? Right on. A fully decked, sunproof, steel curtains and all, reliable and minty, fresh mobile haven. Minty fresh mobile haven. Damn, I really need to see that masterpiece sometime. Give me a few nights to sort my stuff out, and I'll show you all its quirks. He cracks an actual smile, looking both wistful and excited. You know what? I might take you up on that offer. Deal. Just keep those fingers crossed for me, alright? I've got to navigate my way out of the Camarilla mess first, remember? I gleefully sift through Mato's treasures, pretending I don't see him watching me like a hawk, clearly fighting a vicious internal battle. But in the end, neither of us breaks our silent standoff. It's time we head out. We still need to find someone who can actually give us answers. Sorry to bother you, Mato, and thank you for your time. Ow, that's cold, even by Porrick standards. But it sets me up perfectly. I smile brightly at Mato and wave a little. Goodbye, Mato. Look after this little Shangri-La of yours, okay? We turn around to leave, and I quietly count the steps. Before I reach 3, Mato curses under his breath and speaks up. Hold up. Porrick shoots me a meaningful look, but is gone by the time we both turn back to the friendly giant. Mato's gnawing at his bottom lip and twisting the rag between his fingers. Yes? I really am out of that business, Patty. I know, Mato. Still, some whispers find their ways to my ears. Nobody likes gossip more than a buzzed-up kindred. Ain't that the truth? Usually comes in real handy, too. Yeah. So there's this thin-blood alchemist. Skylar is her name, I think. Hangs around at Sunny's a lot. Sunny's? Empire of the Sun. It's a local anarch dive. Yeah, exactly. Sunny's. If anybody knows anything about the blood trade, it's her. She's the only albino around, too, so you won't mistake her for none. Thank you, Mato. That is all we need. I owe you, big time. Who knows, you might have saved my skin there. Don't mention it. Still, we should get going. Take care. Not so fast, Runt. Oh my god, it's Mia! Hi, Mia! What's with the kindred in this city and their love for lurking? Or is it me who's losing my edge? Miss Sorrento, what a pleasure. The air crackles with their mutual glares. Porrick stoic, hers livid. Mato waves at her awkwardly, to which she responds with a curt nod. Me? I might as well be invisible to her. Torque needs you. Now. Why? I came here to tell you, not to debate you, Caitiff. Figure it out on your own. Porrick tries to hide his frustration, but his jaw is set and his shoulders tight. Fine. Let's get moving, Collie. I don't think you heard me right. Torque summoned you. Your Ravnos pup is not invited. She turns on her heel and walks off into the night. The cluttered car shop suddenly feels a touch more welcoming, as if starlight broke through after a storm. Mato gives Porrick another one of those awkward shoulder pats, but it does have a relaxing effect on him, or at least it stops him erratically spinning the ring. Wow, another kindred who dims down the room. You've really got 'em by the dozen here in the Big Apple, huh? Yeah, she's kinda definitely one of them. Name's Mia, Torque's enforcer. Sort of big fish around here. Bigger than Torque sometimes. Easy, Patty. You wouldn't want her catching wind of that. Porrick clears his throat in a uselessly mortal manner. Right. I believe that is our cue to go. Thanks again, Mato. Don't mention it. And hey, you're welcome back anytime. Both of you. You got it. Later. Porrick gnashes his teeth so loudly that I can hear it a good 5 feet away. He's spinning his ring in such a violent and erratic manner that for a brief, bizarre moment, I think he's going to rip his finger off. So I make a brilliant, as always, decision to lighten the mood. Not gonna lie, I don't think I've ever met a kindred as charming and likable as Mato. What's his deal? Where's he hiding the bodies? From what I gather, his skeletons are buried deep in his past. Mato used to be quite the skilled thaumaturge once, delving into the darker arts, albeit reluctantly. His sire can be quite intense. Aren't they all? Right. I am happy to report that my efforts seem to have worked. Or at least, Pork straightens up and puts his hands in the pockets instead of maiming them with the twisty ring. Still, who knows what his little claws are doing to the lining of his coat. So, what's the plan now? I have to go see Torque. Yeah, I gathered, but Scary Enforcer Lady made it clear I wasn't invited to the party. You'll just have to wait in the car then. Look, as much as I consider your perfectly serviceable car to be an excellent company, we both know I can't just sit around doing nothing. Then I'll ask someone to keep an eye on you. It should not take too long. I've noticed that he doesn't say, like, shouldn't and stuff. He always says should not. That's an interesting character choice. Bullshit. You and your endless debates? I'll be old and gray before you come back, and that's not even an option anymore. Seriously, you handle Torque, and I'll head over to Sunny's to look for that Skylar girl. That's not happening. Oh, come on. I've been the very model of temperance tonight. We've only been awake for mere hours. Splitting hairs. I'm heading to Sunny's to wait for you there. Scout's honor. He sighs, rubbing tiredly at his eyes. If we only had some means of long-distance communication at hand. Could you imagine what we could do if we were able to hear our voices from miles apart? Alas, reality is much more cruel. At least under Camarilla rules. We could always try using pigeons. New York's got no shortage of them. Oh, so you're a comedian now. Hilarious. A shade of amusement crosses Porrick's face, but he manages to swiftly suppress it. Look, it seems we are out of options here. You'll have to come with me and wait for a bit. I'll figure out what Torque wants from me, and then... He trails off mid-sentence and stares blankly into the distance, hands joining together to spin his ring. I wave my hand in front of his face, but he doesn't even flinch. Talk about being out there. And trust me, I'm an expert on out there. After what seems like a lifetime, he finally speaks up. And I feel every single drop of predictability evaporate. Alright, let's meet at Empire of the Sun in an hour. Hold up, for real? Empire of the Sun, 1 hour. Do not let me down. And before I even have a chance to say anything, like maybe thanks or crack a joke, he turns on his heel, hops into his perfectly serviceable vehicle, and drives off into the night. I feel right at home all alone without anyone breathing down my neck. Surprisingly, to myself and probably Park as well, I have no intention of bailing, not when there's a solid lead waiting for me at Sunny's. But then again, the night is young, lit up and gorgeous, and I'm alone in the city that never sleeps. Why not enjoy the scenic route? Whew, okay, my throat is getting quite sore. Alright, I think we're gonna finish this night, probably? Or at least this quest, and then, call it. Okay, Empire of the Sun, main quest. Oh, one sec, actually. I am now out of water. So yeah, gonna have to call it after this. Empire of the Sun, main quest. From pillar to post to another Anarch spot. Networking, right? With Park temporarily out of the picture, it's on me to wring that Skylar Duskborn dry for every last drop of intel. Oh shit, a detour! Yeah! I want a detour. Luck be a lady tonight. What are the odds of bumping into a street gambler in the middle of New York, the day after Christmas at that? Slim to none, I'd say. But when fate is the dealer, you just gotta go all in. With my caretaker off doing his own thing, it feels like the Camarilla's iron fist is finally loosened up, giving me a much-needed break. No forced hangouts, no endless chases. Just me cruising through the buzzing streets of the Bronx, with Mariah Carey's wailing as my soundtrack for the night. Because of course, you just can't escape the official anthem of Christmas. I'm not a fan of the fake festive frenzy, but still, the dazzling array of lights and decorations, the infectiously high spirits and cheer, it's enough to make even a Grinch like me crack a smile. Props to the folks who turned this whole Jesus-y shit into the world's longest con. Despite all that, I find myself craving some risky excitement. Yeah, I know, I'm a lost cause in that department. Perks of the clan, so to speak. And it looks like Lady Luck is grinning at me again tonight because, Despite the nearly deserted streets, I spot a small crowd gathered up ahead. Curiosity piqued, I saunter close enough to fish out a really bad gather-up routine. Get in here, give it a chance, y'all, because we're about to dive into a big ol' showdown, a jitterbug with destiny, or whatever's trending right now. Here, the cards are calling the shots. Destiny, cards, chance. It's that same familiar melody, just played in a different key this time. And clearly, someone forgot how to tune their act. Because I remember well how it's done. Funny, this worn out spiel takes me back to my, well, let's call them my free expression days. Back when I was still mortal, not a vile creature of the night. I can still recall the dusty desert winds, the throbbing beats, the neon lights that veiled my deceptions. My fingers were nimble with tricks, and the crowd's gasps were fuel for my fire. And yeah, I was a hustler, though back then I fancied myself more a street performer, skilled in my art, only dipping into its shadier aspects to cover my immediate expenses. Because it was about more than just making money. It was about finding that sweet spot between illusion and reality. It's just that when reality hits, it really fucking hurts. But when one chapter closes, another opens. And in that transition, Reynard played the role of a catalyst for a change. Who's got the guts to risk it all? Come on, throw in a bit of your time and a few bucks, and let's kick this party into high gear. The stage for this show is a dilapidated table with chipped paint and a couple of flimsy folding chairs. It's not the dismal setup that's the most rickety. It's his whole vibe. The guy is a walking vitamin D deficiency. Wow. Wrapped up tight in a jacket that could easily fit two of him. His hands are like spiders, always creeping back into his pockets when he's not dealing or shuffling. I squint up to get a better look at his face. His eyes shoot directly at me. Hey folks, check out our next contender in the crowd. How about we shuffle up for a round of poker, you and I, eh? I can see that on the sly scale, 10 being smooth like Shin Lim, don't know who that is, and 1 being just your average uncle. He's all brakes and no gas. But hey, I've been fooled before. And that never stopped me from diving headfirst into dumb risks, has it? Feel me in, Slick. I slide into a chair, deliberately choosing the one he didn't point to, just to throw him off his rhythm, and I toss the required change into his jar for a buy-in. The jar's pretty full, though I suspect he might have stuffed it himself to look more convincing. We're keeping it real simple, with only 10 cards. No room for cheating no room for cheating around here. Can't sneak in an extra one, 'cause you'll bust me. And if I try to swipe one away, you'll clock me real quick. Is Hold'em dead or something? 10-card poker? Really? I vaguely remember Reynard teaching me some trick to avoid getting played, but right now, my mind's so blank, it feels like I'm forgetting even more stuff just by thinking about it. Alright, quick math. There's me and him, so that's 2, plus the standard 52-card deck, 10 cards in the mix, and that with, 250-something combinations. Have that, and then factor in whatever he's hiding up his sleeve, and that's roughly the number of ways I can get fucked over. I probably should have asked what we were playing before diving in. But he's already shuffling, so there's a chance to get a read on him. I need a plan. Stat. I can't help savoring the gambler's nervous fumbling as the crowd presses closer, drawn in by the rising tension. My intense gaze just amps up his discomfort. Maybe, just maybe, I can pressure him into messing up his little trick. I can't tell if he's clueless or just playing it cool. But he gives me this blank stare, totally unfazed. Yep, it's time to rethink my strategy. Playing the first round against even a shitty hustler is basically throwing my cash into a black hole. But hey, I'm feeling generous today. I'll even toss in a few extra bucks just to keep the game interesting. He deals, and I check my hand. Jack of clubs, Queen of hearts, King of spades, and a pair of 8s. Oh man, not bad. I just barely won. Got 2 pairs, jacks and queens. I'm far from being seasoned, but even I can tell there's something fishy about this set. Pretty easy win when you're the one doing the shuffling. The crowd backs me up with murmurs of agreement. He looks rattled for a second, but quickly recovers with a smirk. Alright. You know what? Let's even the odds a bit. I'll show you the card, and you can decide whether to keep it or pass it back to me. Deal? I nod. It's a slim chance, but it's still a chance. He finishes shuffling and flicks the first card my way. Your choice. The Queen of Hearts makes her grand entrance, all pomp and circumstance. I don't know how to play fucking poker. I don't know. Should I take this? I guess I'll take it. Yes, Queen. Yeah. Oh my god. Yes, Queen. Lead the way to our victory. Definitely mine. The King of Spades appears, all business with his arms crossed. Do you want this card, or should I take it? I don't know. I don't know how to play poker. Take it. Sorry, King, but you're not making the cut. No thanks. You keep it. His eyebrow twitches nervously. You sure? Just keep dealing. How about now? The 8 of diamonds. About as exciting as watching paint dry. Yeah, alright. I'll keep it. I make a few more calls, deciding whether the cards go to him or to me until he's dealt them all. Just a heads up, you've seen all the cards, so we can still swap decks if you want. His shaky posture says it all. Oh, buddy, you've really backed yourself into a corner. I can't resist pushing just a bit more. Do you want to swap the piles? He shoots me a sour look and reluctantly reveals his hand. I won. The crowd cheers for me while the gambler leans in, his voice a low hiss. You were counting, weren't you, cheater? What's that, Pot? I can't hear over your whiny calling me black. You cheated. You knew exactly what to do. Admit it. Nobody beats me without cheating. His accusation, foolish and loud enough to carry probably 2 blocks away, definitely catches the attention of everyone nearby. This is just too perfect. Did you all hear that? I think somebody just confessed. Suddenly, it's so quiet, you could hear a pin drop. Then the whispers start, quickly turning into a chorus of boos, but I'm not sticking around for the rotten tomatoes. I snatch up my winnings and book it into the night, serenaded by the sound of shattering glass, coins clinking on the pavement, and the loser's whimpers. And then I speed up. I've already wasted way too much time here. Well, that was interesting. I think I'm gonna have to call it here. My throat feels like sandpaper. But in all honesty, I will probably keep doing more in like max an hour, because I don't want to stop playing this. I would not be surprised if I do every episode, all of it in one night, and just stop for breaks of water in between. So, thank you so much for joining me. I'm so happy that this is a thing and that I'm playing it. You have no idea. And I will see you next time.